Hi, this is Miss Welts. Today we're going to discuss the different ways to say to become. Our objective is to differentiate between the different ways to say to become. And your essential question, what are the different ways to say to become, and when is it appropriate to use the different verbs? This is basically a matter of memorization and vocabulary, but it can be a bit confusing. Remember your upcoming projects, that you have your Chapter 8 project due January 2nd, and your Don Quixote project is due before you go out on break on December 20th. Your homework is going to be to work on that Don Quixote project, workbook page 89, and step 4 of the project, because we will be doing steps 2 and 3 during class today. Go ahead and make sure that at this time you have posted part 1 of your project on Edmodo. Part 1 of your project on Edmodo would have been to write a description of Spanish of the business you'd like to run later on in life and describe the type of entry-level position you'd expect to take in that business to enable you to reach the top. It needs to be 400 words in Spanish, and it needs to be put in your group section so that members of your group can read it. Okay, first off, let's start with Bellwork 8.3. A Pablo le resulta fácil utilizar las nuevas tecnologías. Pablo, being a singular subject, is going to take a singular direct or indirect object pronoun, rather, and so you should end up with le. Me. Alright, we need parece or parezco, que no estás haciendo bien el trabajo. Remember that me doesn't necessarily need to agree with the verb that's coming after it. The verb needs to agree with the object. So in this particular one, me parece, it seems to me that you are not doing your work well. Okay, a ti, me or te molesta, llegar al trabajo temprano. Of course, ti goes with te. ¿Qué bien a ustedes les salieron bien el proyecto? Okay, we have ustedes goes with les, salió or salieron bien el proyecto. Well, it is one project, so salió. How great that project's going for you guys. A mi hermano no me or le cabe en la cabeza que yo saqué buenas notas este semestre. Mi hermano is a he. It's going to go with le. The next thing we're going to discuss is our Cornell notes on verbs that express to become. Okay, so you can use the verbs hacerse, volverse, ponerse, convertirse en, quedarse, llegar a ser to convey a change in state, meaning to get or to become. Now, just in case we don't know, hacerse means to do to oneself, volverse means to return yourself, like bring yourself back, ponerse is to put on oneself, convertirse en is to change oneself, quedarse is to stay or remain, llegar a ser is to become. But all of these, of course, mean to become in a different way. The preterite can often used to be talking about a particular change or reaction in the past. So let's look at hacerse by itself. Hacerse plus an adjective or a noun describes a change where personal effort is involved. Okay, by personal effort, Juan se hizo abogado. Juan became a lawyer. That involved his personal effort. Another one, ponerse plus an adjective, describes a sudden physical or mental change. Okay, so Ana se puso triste cuando no pudo ir al concierto. This is what you guys learned in Spanish 2 and giggled about. Me puse nerviosa. Well, this one, Ana became sad. Or me puse nerviosa is I would become nervous when she couldn't go to the concert here. So, Ana se puso triste cuando no pudo ir al concierto. Ana became sad when she couldn't go to the concert. Volverse plus an adjective can describe a more gradual change. So, me estoy volviendo loca con esta computadora. This computer is going crazy. So, I'm going crazy with this computer. So, I'm gradually losing my mind with it. Convertirse en plus a noun is used to express changing into, like I'm going to turn into something. So, la tienda familiar se convirtió en un almacén grande. The family store turned into a big department store. It changed into something. You could also use this if somebody's changing into a werewolf, for example. Use quedarse plus an adjective in some idiomatic expressions and with certain adjectives such as ciego, sordo, and calvo to express to be left or to wind up in a certain way. A ciego is someone who's blind. A sordo is somebody who's deaf, and calvo is somebody who's bald. So if you're ending up blind, or you turn up deaf, or you become bald after a while, you would use these. Quedarse. So me quedé boquiabierta. You might remember that one from Spanish 3. It means speechless. So I was left speechless. Llegar a ser plus an adjective or noun means to become, but only it's after a series of events or after a really long time. So, por fin llegaron a ser buenas amigas. So, finally, they got to be good friends. They became good friends. Or, era pobre, pero llegó a ser rico. He was poor, but he became rich in the end after some things happened. Okay. So now that we have our notes taken down, make sure you take some time to write a summary. Go ahead and pause the video and write a summary and your questions in the questions column of your Cornell note paper. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get started on our book work. This is page 329. It's activity 15. ¿Cómo cambiaron? Complete each sentence with the correct form of the verb. So ellos either se pusieron, se volvieron, or se hicieron furiosos. They became furious with the bad news. Okay, so as the result, se pusieron, they became furious. Remember, you can have an adjective after ponerse. And this one's in the preterite. El señor either se convirtió en, se hizo, or se volvió terco con el paso de los años. Okay, so he became stubborn with the passing of years. If he became stubborn, se volvió. After a series of events, he finally became that way. Carlos and Memo became rich with their internet business. Son que se convirtieron, se hicieron, se pusieron. Well, after that series of events, B, se hicieron, they became rich. Her brother was happy when you told him the joke. Okay, se vuelve, se hace, or se pone. Here we have an adjective again, so we're looking at C, se pone. This boy became a problem. So he changed into a problem, se ha puesto, he became a problem, se ha hecho, he became a problem. That one's going to go with A. Se ha he changed from being not a problem into being a problem, so that's got to be A. Again, if you really don't understand your rules, you're going to have a hard time with this, so make sure you are keeping up with that particular piece. So in this one, this is page 329, activity 16. It says, write sentences that are complete using the following phrases. Use the present or the present perfect. Okay, so I became very studious because now I have classes on the internet. Okay, they say, me he vuelto, I have become. So your sentence would look like this. Yo me he vuelto muy estudiosa porque ahora tengo clases por internet. I have become very studious because now I have classes on the internet. This is using the present perfect tense. If you've forgotten, present perfect is on page 148 and 149 of your textbook. I know some of y'all didn't have me for Spanish 3, so you may be a little bit confused. Remember, the present perfect is he, has, ha, hemos, habéis, han, plus the past participle. Which, and volver is an irregular one, vuelto. Remember, you had like abierto, dicho, hecho, vuelto, puesto, and a lot of other ones, escrito. Normally it's ado and ido, but like hablado and escribido, but this one's irregular. So in the second one, my grandmother became a businesswoman and sells things on the internet. Okay, they're going to say se ha hecho, has become. So to write our sentence, we're going to say, mi abuela se ha hecho mujer de negocios y vende cosas por internet. Okay, and the next one. Mi papá has become very competent with the new technology. Has become. So, mi papá ha llegado a ser muy competente con las nuevas tecnologías. Papá has an accent mark and tecnologías. All right, my brothers have become crazy with these new computer games. So, se vuelven. So, mis hermanos se vuelven locos por los juegos de computadora. And finally, technology has become the center of our daily lives. So, se ha convertido en, has become. La technologia se ha convertido en el centro de nuestra vida diaria. And I need to accent mark tecnología. Okay. The next activity is your extended writing activity. Remember, you only have to do one of these per week. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to double check for you. For extended writing activities, you have this one that you did on vocabulary if you are an A-day student. If you're a B-day student, this will be the first one for this week. And there's another one next class. So you can either do this one or the one for next class, depending on whichever one you prefer doing. But you do need to have one per week. This one says, what happened to Guillermo in pairs? Tell what happened to Guillermo in the following pictures. Use verbs from Gramatica. So you need to use your vocabulary, and you need to use those ways to say to become. So like, in the end, he became strong. He became a trainer. Here, he, how did he become? You have to write sentences using verbs. And you need at least 5 sentences for this particular activity. And I know it says in pairs, but you're going to do it by yourself. Okay. Next thing, you need to be working on this Chapter 8 project. Last class, earlier today, you posted that description for Step 1 in Edmodo. Now, as you can see, Step 2, right here, exchange descriptions with another Spanish 4 student. You have been put in an Edmodo group for this. So make sure you are putting your description in your group, and read your partner's descriptions if it's there. If it's not there yet, it will be. And read your partner's descriptions about what the head of a business would look for in a candidate for that entry-level position. Yes, it does need to be posted. You need to start researching job applications in Spanish. So make sure that before next class you read their stuff, and you have researched job applications in Spanish, because for homework, I need for you to write a job application, not for your partner, for yourself. I don't know why I said that. You write a job application for yourself and fill it out and then post it in that Edmodo group. So you need to research what a job application looks like, fill out all the boxes, and stick it in that Edmodo group. And I will be checking to make sure that that is done. The final thing for today is to do this Quizlet stuff. I want you to play scatter. And if we go here, you notice Spanish for verbs that are expressed to become. There's some new ones and there's some ones that have been there for a while. So you're just going to play scatter, which is where you like to become happy. I saw it there somewhere. There it is. So you would take them and they'll disappear if they are right. become rich. Tired is cansarse. That's an old verb. But anyway, so you're going to play scatter, and once you're done playing scatter for a while and you've gotten used to it, I want you to take the quiz. When you take the quiz, I want you to make sure that you are making it all matching. Reconfigured has to have all 18 questions. Take the quiz and let me see your score on it. And I'm going to, once I see that score, I want you to post in Edmodo that I have seen it. Remember your upcoming projects and your homework. Make sure that you have that step 4 done before next class. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.